The village of Glenwood was small, quiet, and tucked between rolling green hills. Life there was simple. Every morning, the sun rose slowly over the hills, and the birds filled the air with their cheerful songs. People knew each other by name, and everyone shared in each other's joys and troubles. But Glenwood had its secrets, secrets that most villagers preferred to ignore. On a crisp autumn morning, a stranger arrived. He walked along the cobblestone path that led to the village square. His coat was long and dark, and a wide-brimmed hat shadowed his face. Nobody had seen him before. Children playing near the fountain stopped to stare, while the shopkeepers paused at their doors. He carried no bag, no horse, nothing that showed why he had come. Old Mrs. Harper, who sold bread in the tiny bakery by the square, was the first to speak. "Good morning, sir. Can I help you?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. The stranger lifted his head. His eyes were pale blue, almost like the winter sky, and they seemed to look right through her. "I am looking for someone," he said in a voice that was soft but firm. "Someone who lives here." "Who might that be?" Mrs. Harper asked, wiping her hands on her apron. He hesitated. "I cannot say, but it is important that I find them." Word of the stranger spread quickly. By noon, the village square was buzzing with whispers. Who was he? Why had he come? Some villagers speculated that he might be a lost traveler. Others feared he could be a thief or a spy. But the stranger did not speak to anyone else. He only walked slowly through the streets, glancing at doors, windows, and the faces of villagers as if searching for a hidden clue. Among the villagers was a young boy named Liam. Liam was curious by nature. He had messy brown hair, bright green eyes, and a mind full of questions. He often wandered around the village alone, exploring fields and streams, imagining adventures far beyond Glenwood. When he saw the stranger, something inside him stirred. He wanted to know who this man was and why he seemed so mysterious. As evening approached, Liam decided to follow him from a distance. The stranger moved with purpose, walking toward the edge of the village where the forest began. The trees were tall and dark, and their shadows stretched long in the fading light. Liam hesitated at the forest's edge, but his curiosity was stronger than his fear. Quietly, he stepped behind the stranger, careful not to make a sound. The forest was cool and silent, except for the crunch of leaves underfoot. The stranger stopped at a small clearing and knelt down, placing a hand on the ground. He traced patterns in the dirt that glowed faintly in the dim light. Liam watched in awe. Magic? He could not believe his eyes. Suddenly, the stranger looked up. His eyes met Liam's. For a moment, there was no fear, only a strange recognition, as if he had been expecting him all along. "You shouldn't be here, boy," the stranger said calmly, but there was no anger in his voice. I just wanted to see," Liam stammered, his heart racing. The stranger smiled faintly. "Curiosity can be dangerous, but it can also be a guide. If you are brave enough, you may discover things that no one else in Glenwood has ever known." Liam swallowed hard. He felt a mix of excitement and fear. Something had changed in the village today. The quiet life of Glenwood, with its safe streets and friendly faces, would never feel the same again. And deep down, Liam knew he was about to step into a world far larger and far stranger than he had ever imagined. The stranger stood and turned toward the deeper forest. "Follow me," he said. "If you wish to learn, you must leave the village behind." Liam hesitated, looking back at the lights of Glenwood twinkling through the trees. But adventure called to him stronger than any fear. With a deep breath, he stepped forward. And in that moment, the boy's life and the fate of the village changed forever. Liam followed the stranger through the dense forest. The air smelled of damp earth and fallen leaves, and shadows danced between the towering trees. Every step he took felt like stepping into a new world, far different from the quiet streets of Glenwood. He had never been this deep into the forest before, and a shiver of excitement ran down his spine. The stranger moved silently, like a shadow himself. Liam noticed strange symbols carved into the bark of some trees, swirls, lines, and shapes that seemed almost alive. The stranger paused at one of the markings, tracing it with his finger. The symbol glowed faintly, and a soft hum filled the air. Liam blinked. He had never seen anything like it. "Are these magic?" Liam asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The stranger nodded. "Yes, this forest holds secrets that the villagers of Glenwood cannot even imagine." But magic is not kind to the careless. Only those who are brave and pure of heart can understand it. Liam felt a mix of fear and wonder. His heart beat faster as he tried to comprehend the words. Magic? Brave and pure of heart. He had always imagined adventures, but never something like this. They walked for what seemed like hours, yet the forest never seemed to end. Strange sounds echoed around them, rustling leaves, distant whispers, and sometimes the soft laughter of creatures Liam could not see. At one point, the stranger stopped at a small, crystal-clear stream. The water sparkled even in the dim forest light, and tiny fish swam in patterns that looked like they were dancing. Drink, the stranger said, kneeling by the stream. It will give you clarity. You will need it soon. Liam hesitated but then cupped his hands and drank. The water was cold, sharp, and refreshing. The moment it touched his lips, he felt a strange warmth spread through him, like tiny sparks running along his skin. Colors seemed brighter, sounds sharper, and even the shadows felt alive. Liam realized he could sense the forest in a way he never had before. The stranger watched him closely. Good. You are ready, he said. But what you are about to see will change everything you know. There are forces at work that even the elders of Glenwood cannot control. Liam's curiosity overcame his fear. What is it? He asked eagerly. The stranger turned and pointed deeper into the forest. A massive tree stood ahead, unlike any Liam had seen. Its trunk was wider than a house, and its branches twisted high into the sky, glowing faintly with golden light. At the base of the tree was a small door, carved perfectly into the bark. Strange symbols covered it, pulsating softly, as if the tree itself were alive. This is the heart tree, the stranger said. It guards the secret of the forest. Many have tried to enter, but few are chosen. You, Liam, may be one of the few. Liam's eyes widened. His heart raced with excitement and fear. He had imagined adventures in faraway lands, but now, standing before the heart tree, he realized that some adventures could be closer and far more dangerous than he had ever dreamed. The stranger reached out his hand. Come, if you wish to know the truth. But remember, once you step through that door, nothing will be the same. Your life, the village, everything you love, it may all change. Liam looked back at the dark forest path behind him. The village lights were faint, almost like a memory. Then he looked at the glowing heart tree. His curiosity, stronger than fear, pulled him forward. With a deep breath, Liam took the stranger's hand. Together, they stepped toward the door, and the soft glow of the heart tree swallowed them both. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Something ancient and powerful had been awakened. And so, Liam's true journey began. As Liam stepped through the glowing door of the heart tree, a strange sensation washed over him. It was as if the world he knew had been left behind. The air shimmered like sunlight on water, and the ground beneath his feet felt soft, almost like walking on clouds. The forest outside was gone, replaced by a vast hall of golden light. The stranger tightened his grip. This place only reveals itself to those who are ready, he said. But the heart tree tests everyone. You must face your fears before you can understand its secrets. Liam's heart pounded. The hall seemed endless, walls glowing with shifting symbols, each moving like it had a mind of its own. Strange whispers floated through the air, calling his name, some gentle, some harsh. Liam's fear grew. He wanted to turn back, but a deep voice inside him urged him forward. Courage, the stranger said softly. It is not the absence of fear, but acting despite it. Suddenly, the floor beneath Liam shook. Shadows stretched out from the walls, twisting into shapes of his deepest fears. One shadow looked like a giant snake, another like a roaring fire, and yet another was a shadow of Liam himself, but with eyes glowing red. Face them, the stranger commanded. You cannot pass unless you confront your fears. Liam swallowed hard. His first instinct was to run, but he forced himself to step forward. The shadow snake lunged at him. Heart racing, Liam remembered something his father had once told him. Fear is real, but it cannot control you unless you let it. Taking a deep breath, Liam stood his ground. I am not afraid of you, he shouted. The shadow vanished with a hiss, leaving only a faint mist behind. Next came the shadow of fire. Liam felt its heat, smelled its smoke. He wanted to step back, but he imagined the warmth of his mother's kitchen, the calm of his village home. Drawing on those memories, he walked through the fire. It burned his fear, but left him unharmed. Finally, the shadow of himself with red eyes stepped forward. It spoke, in a voice like his own, "You are weak. You cannot face what lies ahead." Liam's legs shook. He almost gave in. But then he remembered the glowing heart tree outside, the stranger's words, and his own curiosity. "I am not weak," he said firmly. "I may be afraid, but I will not run. I will learn the truth." The shadow blinked. Slowly, it bowed and disappeared, leaving the hall in calm, golden light. Liam's chest heaved, but a smile spread across his face. He had passed the trial. The stranger stepped beside him. "Few can endure the heart tree's trial. You have done well. Now, the secret will be revealed." A golden light grew brighter in the center of the hall, forming a small pedestal. On it rested a crystal, glowing with warmth and life. Liam approached it, mesmerized. As he touched the crystal, visions filled his mind. Ancient forests, magical creatures, and a hidden force that had protected the village for centuries. The stranger's voice echoed. "This is the heart crystal. It holds the balance of the forest and the power to protect your village. But beware, power always attracts danger. You must learn to use it wisely." Liam held the crystal tightly. He felt a strength he had never known. But somewhere deep in the back of his mind, he sensed that this was only the beginning. Outside, the wind whispered through the forest, carrying a warning and a promise. Liam's adventure had only just begun. Liam stepped out of the heart tree, the crystal glowing softly in his hands. The forest looked the same as before, yet something felt different. The air was heavier, as if the trees themselves were holding their breath. The wind whispered, carrying a warning he couldn't quite understand. The stranger followed silently. "The crystal is powerful, but not without risk," he said. "There are others who will want it, and they will come for you." Liam's heart skipped a beat. Who will come?" he asked, his voice trembling. The stranger shook his head. "Not yet. You must be ready to face them. And to be ready, you must first understand the power you hold." Before Liam could respond, the ground beneath him shivered. From the shadows between the trees, a dark figure emerged. It moved like smoke, twisting and changing shape. Its eyes glowed a fierce green, and a chilling laugh echoed through the forest. "I see the little hero found the crystal," the figure hissed. Its voice was like 1,000 whispers at once. "Did you think it would be easy?" Liam clutched the crystal. It pulsed in his hands, warm and alive, as if sensing his fear. "I won't let you take it," he shouted. The shadow figure laughed, stretching taller and wider. The stranger stepped forward. "Liam, remember what you learned in the heart tree. Courage comes from facing what scares you the most." The figure lunged, and Liam felt a rush of cold air. The crystal in his hands flared, sending a wave of light that pushed the shadow back. The figure hissed and disappeared, leaving only a dark mist behind. Liam's knees trembled. It knows about the crystal," he whispered. "Yes," the stranger said. "And now, it will hunt you. Every step you take, every choice you make, will be watched. The forest is alive, but not everyone in it is your friend." Liam looked around, his mind racing. The trees seemed taller, darker, and the whispers of the wind sounded like voices warning him to run. Yet he stood firm. He had survived the trial, faced shadows, and discovered the crystal's power. He would not run now. The stranger placed a hand on his shoulder. "The first challenge is over, but the real journey begins. The crystal can protect you, but it cannot fight for you. You must learn, train, and prepare. Danger is coming, and soon, the forest itself will test you like never before." Liam nodded, determination burning in his chest. He had entered the forest as a curious boy, but he would leave it as a protector, a guardian of the heart crystal. The adventure had only begun, and the shadows at the edge were only the first of many. As night fell, the wind carried a cold, soft voice. "The crystal calls to those who seek it, and to those who crave its power." Liam hugged the crystal tightly. He knew one thing for certain. He could not face this alone, but he also could not back down. The forest had chosen him, and he would rise to the challenge, no matter the cost. The forest was darker than ever. Liam moved carefully, the crystal glowing faintly in his hand. Every rustle of leaves made him jump, every shadow seemed alive. He had survived the first encounter, but he knew the danger was far from over. The stranger who had guided him so far walked beside him. The crystal draws more than just light, he said quietly. It calls to creatures that wish to protect it, and those that wish to destroy it. You need allies, Liam. You cannot do this alone. Liam frowned. Allies? Where will I find them? Everyone seems afraid, or dangerous. The stranger smiled faintly. Not everyone. Some are hidden. You just need to listen, truly listen. As they walked deeper into the forest, a soft sound reached Liam's ears, like hundreds of tiny bells chiming in the wind. He turned, but saw nothing. Then, a small figure stepped out from behind a moss-covered tree. It was a creature no bigger than a rabbit, with silver fur that shimmered like moonlight and eyes that glowed softly blue. Do not be afraid, it said, in a voice that sounded like whispers carried by the breeze. I am Lyra, and I know why you have the crystal. Liam blinked. You can talk? Lyra nodded. Yes, and there are more like me. Forest spirits, guardians, creatures who understand the power you hold. They will help you, if you prove your courage and your heart. Before Liam could respond, more figures appeared, tall and slender with eyes like amber flames, small shadowy shapes that darted through the trees, and birds with feathers that sparkled like jewels. The forest was alive, and not all of it was dark and dangerous. Some of it was ready to fight alongside him. The stranger knelt beside Liam. These allies are rare, and they do not appear to everyone. The crystal has chosen you, and they recognize its call. But remember, their loyalty is not given lightly. You must earn it through courage and wisdom. Liam felt a new sense of hope. He had faced shadows, and now he was not alone. The crystal pulsed warmly, as if agreeing with him. Then I will do whatever it takes, he said firmly. I will protect it, and I will protect this forest. Lyra tilted her head, her glowing eyes filled with curiosity. Words are easy, little one. Actions, that is what will matter. The stranger smiled. Tomorrow, your first test with your allies begins. They will teach you how to use the crystal's power, how to listen to the forest, and how to stand against the darkness that hunts you. Liam clenched the crystal tightly. The forest whispered around him, alive with possibilities and secrets. He had survived fear, faced shadows, and now, with allies by his side, he felt a spark of true courage. The adventure was far from over, but for the first time, he felt he was ready to face what came next. As night fell, the forest seemed to hum with life. Tiny lights flickered in the distance, and Liam knew that tomorrow, everything would change. The whispering allies had appeared, and together, they would face the darkness that awaited. The next morning, the forest was alive with sound. Birds sang in patterns Liam had never heard before, and the wind carried whispers that seemed almost like words. The crystal in his hand pulsed with a soft light, as if it knew today would be important. Lyra appeared first, hovering just above the ground. Your first trial begins, she said. It will test your courage, your patience, and your trust in others. Liam nodded, feeling a mix of fear and excitement. He had faced shadows before, but this was something different. His allies, creatures of light, shadow, and shimmer, gathered around him. Some had wings, some moved silently, and some were so small he almost missed them. The stranger, who had guided him this far, handed Liam a wooden staff. This will help you channel the crystal's power, he explained. But do not rely on it alone. You must think, move, and act wisely. Liam gripped the staff tightly. Suddenly, the forest changed. The trees twisted, the shadows deepened, and a low growl echoed around him. From the darkness, creatures emerged, figures made of mist and jagged stone, eyes glowing red. They were the forest's forgotten guardians, dangerous and unpredictable. Your trial is simple, Lyra said. Survive and protect the crystal. But remember, you are not alone. Trust your allies and trust yourself. The creatures lunged. Liam swung the staff, and a wave of energy pulsed from the crystal, scattering the closest shadows. But more came, faster and fiercer. One of the small shadow creatures darted toward him, a blur of speed. Liam froze for a second, heart pounding. Then he remembered Lyra's words, trust your allies. Help me, he shouted. Instantly, the glowing birds swooped down, pecking at the mist figures. A tall amber-eyed guardian stepped forward, shielding Liam from a creature that lunged from the side. The tiny silver creature, Lyra, zipped around, distracting the enemies and guiding Liam where to strike. For the first time, Liam felt the crystal's power in harmony with his actions. He didn't just react. He thought, moved, and led. With a final burst of energy, the crystal's light flared brightly, and the shadow creatures vanished, leaving only silence. Breathing heavily, Liam looked around. His allies hovered near him, some glowing brighter than ever. The stranger smiled. You survived your first trial, Liam. But trials will grow harder. Darkness does not rest, and it will test you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Liam looked at the crystal in his hand. It no longer felt heavy. It felt alive, like a part of him. I'm ready, he whispered, more to himself than anyone else. Whatever comes next. I won't run. The forest seemed to shimmer with approval. Liam had taken the first step toward becoming a true guardian, and though shadows still lurked, he knew one thing. He was no longer alone. The forest grew quiet after Liam's trial, the mist settling like a soft blanket over the twisted trees. The crystal in his hand glimmered faintly, as if breathing with him. Though victorious, Liam felt a strange unease. Something was hidden, waiting for him to notice. Lyra floated closer. The forest has many secrets, Liam, she said. Some are dangerous, some are wise, and some will change everything you thought you knew. Liam's heart quickened. He wanted answers about the crystal, the forest, and the shadows. The stranger appeared silently behind him, eyes reflecting the morning light. Follow the path of the ancient stones, he said. It will lead you to what the crystal truly is. Liam's allies gathered around as he walked carefully along the stone path. The stones hummed faintly under his feet, guiding him deeper into the forest than he had ever gone. Shadows flickered at the edges of his vision, but he kept moving forward, trusting the crystal's light and the guardians by his side. Finally, they reached a clearing where the sunlight pierced through the thick canopy like golden swords. In the center, a stone pedestal rose from the ground, carved with symbols that seemed to dance in the light. Liam stepped closer. As he touched the pedestal, the crystal in his hand pulsed violently, then projected a shimmering image above it. Liam gasped. The image showed a figure, tall and cloaked, holding a crystal similar to his own. Around the figure, entire forests, mountains, and rivers glowed with energy. This is me, Liam whispered, confused. The figure shook its head, and a voice echoed in his mind. Not yet. But you carry the beginning. Protect it, and the world may awaken. The crystal's light intensified, revealing a hidden message etched into the pedestal. Only the pure of heart can awaken the guardian's path. Liam realized the truth. This crystal was more than a tool. It was a key to power, responsibility, and destiny he could barely understand. Lyra hovered near his shoulder. The shadows you faced are only the beginning. There are forces that will stop at nothing to take the crystal. And you must grow stronger, faster, and wiser than ever before. Liam clenched the crystal tightly. Fear still lingered, but determination burned brighter. I don't fully understand, but I will protect it. I will uncover its secrets. For the first time, Liam felt the weight of his journey, not as a burden, but as a challenge he was ready to face. The forest seemed to breathe around him, as if acknowledging his promise. Somewhere deep in the shadows, unseen eyes watched, waiting. The adventure was far from over.